Bruce Trail starts on the Niagara River downstream from Niagara Falls and extends for 885 kilometers or 550 miles to its northern terminus at Tobermory at the tip of the Bruce Peninsula. I make no claim to having hiked the whole trail. The visits to locations in this video were spread over several seasons and 3 years. It follows the edge of the Niagara Escarpment as it wends its way across the province of Ontario. Through vineyards, past the industrial city of Hamilton, conservation areas, and the rugged shore of Georgian Bay, until the escarpment goes underwater at the town of Tobermory. Centuries ago, the forces of nature created the Niagara Escarpment, a ledge of limestone spanning from New York State through Canada to Michigan. Most people, if they've heard of it at all, know it only because the escarpment creates Niagara Falls as the Niagara River spills over its edge. Niagara Falls has moved upstream 8 kilometers or 5 miles over the last 12,000 years. More than just a long ridge of rock, the Niagara Escarpment is a vital natural link. It ties together a rich tapestry of plant assemblages, bird life, and animals, picturesque villages, and history. In recognition of its international importance as an ecosystem and its exceptional scenic beauty, the Niagara Escarpment Reserve was named a World Biosphere Reserve in 1990 by UNESCO. The southern terminus of the trail is downstream of Niagara Falls in the village of Queenston, where the escarpment rises. At this point, geology and history meet. This monument celebrates General Sir Isaac Brock, who defeated the first American attempt to cross the Niagara River at this point during the War of 1812, but died in the battle. The trail heads west along the Niagara Peninsula through other battle sites of that war, like the Battle of Beaver Dams, which was won due to the efforts of the Canadian heroine Laura Secord, who walked from Queenston to warn a small British force of an impending American attack. The trail crosses the Welland Canal, the major waterway from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. Along the roads, the white blazes marking the trail can be found on telephone poles and guardrail posts. The final defeat of the invaders was at the Battle of Stony Creek. During this battle, 700 British regulars overcame a U.S. Army of 3,000 during a pre-dawn attack, with heavy losses on both sides, preventing Upper Canada from being overrun in 1813. The tower to commemorate that victory was erected 100 years later in 1913. And in 1956, a memorial was erected for 20 soldiers buried there. The trail continues west along the Niagara Peninsula, occasionally using roads with permission from landowners. From the top of the escarpment, we see vineyards that flourish due to the microclimate caused by the escarpment. Looking north across Lake Ontario, we can see Toronto in the distance. Balls Falls, the first of many recreation areas found on the Bruce Trail, is made up of the Ball family home. Barn, grist mill, and tool shed dating from the mid-1800s. St. George Church, a popular spot for weddings, was moved to the site in 1974. The conservation area was named after the family of Jacob Ball. Like other United Empire Loyalists, they were forced to flee their home and business near Albany, New York, during the American Revolution. In recognition of their loyalty to the British Crown, they were issued Crown land grants in 1783. The falls that made this location an attractive industrial area over 300 years ago is now an attraction on the Bruce Trail. So let's follow the white blazes, like this one on the tree that marked the trail. Up the stairs, with other hikers. Then off the trail to go down to the stream at the bottom of the falls for a different view. Approaching the major industrial city of Hamilton, the escarpment can be clearly seen. The proximity of the trail to the city makes it easily available for those who want to use it, for nature or for exercise. The escarpment can be seen north of Hamilton. The trail follows it into the farming country. Through farm country, the trail frequently is along roads, with white blazes on trees or road signs. The escarpment provides many attractive spots where conservation areas or provincial parks, like the Mono Cliffs, are located. The nearby village of Mono Center is a close escape from the large cities nearby. The cliffs are, of course, part of the escarpment. In the early spring, the trees are bare, but on a sunny day, it's a great place for kids to burn off energy, and for older folk to enjoy nature. From the top of the cliff, we can see a largely undisturbed area. On top of the escarpment, the trails are quiet. The blue blaze on the tree indicates we are on an optional side trail. This seemed an appropriate spot for me to take a lunch break beside this pond with a number of families enjoying themselves. A little further north, and a half a year later, when the fall colors are out, I meet another hiker on the trail where the Beaver Valley cuts into the escarpment. This valley leads to Georgian Bay, which is larger than many lakes around the world. The trail follows the edge of this attractive valley. It eventually leads to the steep edge of the escarpment. We follow along that edge till we come to an overlook where we get our first view of the valley. Across the valley, I can see one of several ski hills in this area. Then I see there are outcrops where I can get an even better view of the valley. We drive down from this lookout in order to go to another spot at the head of the Beaver Valley. From down below, when we reach the main road, we can look back at the spot called Old Baldy, where we were. Eugenia Falls flows over the edge of the escarpment at the head of the valley. Another attractive spot on the trail, particularly in the fall. Bypassing the city of Owen Sound, finally we reach the rocky Bruce Peninsula, which separates Georgian Bay from Lake Huron. Using a side trail, marked by the blue trail markers, we access the Bruce Trail as it follows the edge of Colpoys Bay. This bay is quite large, 5 miles in length. It empties into Georgian Bay. One of the two islands at the mouth of the bay is privately owned, as can be seen by the airfield and shoreline. This is a popular sailing area. I once docked at this island when seeking refuge in a sailboat. As we change from the Colpoys Bay area to the Bruce Peninsula National Park, we are reaching the jewel of the trail, in my opinion. But the nature of the trail changes. The trail gets more rugged and even more striking. Here we learn that it is 17.5 kilometers, or 11 miles, to the end of the trail, but we will only cover a small fraction of that. We follow the path on the rocky shore, but eventually have to clamber up to the top of the rocky cliffs. Looking back, we can see the escarpment rising out of Georgian Bay. Looking ahead, we can see the rugged and picturesque shoreline, and young boys having a ball. This is a popular spot, and it's easy to see why. With arches and caves to explore. It's time now to head back to the car and drive the short distance to the town of Tobermory. The northern terminus of the trail is located near the end of this street in Tobermory, at the tip of the Bruce Peninsula. The town is popular with boaters, with fishermen, and with scuba divers. One of my favorite spots in town is the Sweet Shop. Although the Bruce Trail ends here, the escarpment continues across to Manitoulin Island, but that will be another trip.